Hey guys, I got some updates on my Combine Captain or Ordinal cosplay, and in this video you're going to find out what I did in the time that has passed since my last video.
Citizen reminder. A civilized society demands swift and targeted oversight.
In the last video, you could already see the top of my helmet, which was 3D printed. And here you can see the almost finished one after I sanded and primed it. And it's very important how you orientate the parts on the build plate of the printer. So here's this one. It was the white one. It was printed as is from the bottom to top, and you see the stepping, the stairs. Stairs is the word for it in the middle. And this one was printed at a 45-degree angle, and you see there's a bit of impurities, but I can fix that easily later. But there's no easy way to sand and prime the cavity in the middle. So it's very important, like I said. And to be honest, I don't mind if the printer has to run for like 60 hours per part, the big parts, because I rather have the printer print longer than me sanding longer, because sanding sucks. I hate it. Next step is sanding and priming. Some people sand the model first, like the raw plastic, but I didn't do that because I really dislike sanding. So I just started with like applying primer, like a thin coat at first. It's automotive filler primer. I think in America it's called Rust-Oleum or something like that. Like there's many brands and everything. It will work. Don't worry. Just make sure it doesn't melt the plastic, and you just apply some coats, and afterwards you sand them. But sand them perpendicular to the layer lines, because otherwise the tiny particles that you just sanded off will sand off the things in the crevices. And the point of the filling and sanding is that you get rid of the layer lines, so your model looks very smooth. It took me around, I think, 4 coats and sanding sessions before I was kind of happy with it. There's still some rough spots, but come on, I just want to do a cosplay, not a perfect thing. Also, it's my first cosplay ever, so let's not stress things. It's good enough for me, so let's just go with it. And afterwards, you just start painting it. So it's the first time I'm using a 3D printer. It's the first time I'm using an airbrush. And right now you can see me priming the model with a black primer. I'm going to say it just in case. I'm no expert in any of this. I read the stuff online and tried myself for the first time. And I also sprayed the other parts, like the canister for the gas mask and the cartridge and everything, also with the primer, but with a glossy primer, because in-game these metal parts are a bit shiny. And afterwards, I spray paint them with a slight coat of like a metal color, and then sealed the paint. Then I weathered them, and I think they look kinda good for the first time I ever did this. They look a bit too dirty on the pictures with the flash enabled, but without the flash, they look good in my opinion. I also did a small speaker box, like it's a JBL Go 2, I believe. I sanded it down and also painted it and weathered it, so it will be like my voice box, or for the voice changer, or maybe it will play some idle lines from in-game or some music, like blasting CP violation or something like that while on a convention or something, you know. But I think it turned out good for the first time. I'm quite happy about this. But it's important that you don't do too much weathering, because it's easy to just go with the flow and not stop weathering the things, and then they will look too damaged. While I was working on the helmet and waiting for the paint to dry, I also tried myself with some EVA foam and cutting out like the chest protection and the shoulder pads and everything. It was kind of tricky to get the patterns for it, because I also never did that. But basically, it's very easy. You wrap yourself up in plastic foil and then glue some tape on it. It's best if someone helps you. Afterwards, you just trace the shapes, cut them out, and then you should be set. Some of the parts are also covered in cloth. I really did a lot of brainstorming. Should I put them in between the cloth, like in a pillow, like my sister and I tried a bit, and then suddenly I had the idea. I glued a fabric on top of the foam, which of course makes sense to most of you or like the experienced people, but I never thought it will fit. So using contact cement, it seems to work pretty well. And the best thing is you use the glue sparingly anyway. So basically that it's dry to the touch and then it will stick together very good. And you won't see it on the other side. So I have no pictures right now about that, but in the following video I will do it, because right now I just want to focus on the helmet first. So the next step is going to be painting the helmet, finishing it, adding the lights, maybe adding some fans to make it easier to breathe inside. Just keep in mind this video series is not a tutorial. I'm just going to show some things I did so you can follow it, how the costume went together at last. And I really can recommend Punsihed Props Academy to you and Kamui Cosplay. They will be linked in the video description. I learned a lot from them. It's like, wow. From time to time, I'm also going to post some pictures of my progress on the Half-Life subreddit. But that's it for this video. See you next time, guys.